I think we'll go ahead and get started here.
Away.
So welcome everybody to our second class from the for the advanced wheelchair mobility skills. I think everybody was on the call from last week. So before we get started with the subjects and everything here, I'm as I do for every meeting, I'm going to have everybody introduce themselves, tell us if how long you've been in a wheelchair for, if you're in therapy, maybe why you're using a wheelchair. And so my name is Brian Mazoyer. I'm a physical therapist assistant. I'm also rep for the manufacturer's rep for mobility equipment here in Arizona. So go ahead, Dominic.
Dominic Corridon, T5 paraplegic for 25 years from a car accident back in Michigan. All around active wheelchair user.
All right, Christine.
I'm Christine Beecham. I'm an occupational therapist at Banner Physical Therapy. I do occupational therapy in the seating clinic. I'm one of the co-instructors here.
All
Jean.
right, Jean.
Hello, everybody. Gene Heppard. 26 years as a quadriplegic. I was skiing in Colorado, hit a tree, and found out my arms and legs don't work so good after that. So luckily, I went to Craig Hospital and got rehab work. Moved out to Arizona and been part of the Arizona Spinal Cord Injury Association for about 3 years now. And with Able Ability 360, but work at Phoenix College and assist other students navigate going to college. Glad to be here.
All right, Joel.
Hey everyone, my name is Joel. I'm a physical therapist assistant at a rehab hospital in Surprise, and great to be here.
Gary.
Gary Venjohn. It's actually 42 years yesterday that I was in a wheelchair, T12 paraplegic. I also went to Craig Hospital. And I guess that's about it. Retired and tired.
So I guess that maybe happy anniversary is not a good thing to say, or is it?
The option would have been dead, but
Okay, well then happy anniversary.
42 years in, that's happy anniversary right there.
yeah,
Exactly.
there's been a few medical chances they tried to kill me, but I'm still here.
Okay. All right, Sarah, go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Sarah. I've been injured now for a little over 2 years, and I'm an incomplete T4, and I've got L5 and S1 damage.
All right, let's see, Karen.
Hi, everybody. I'm T12 incomplete since 2002 from a motorcycle accident, and I work at the Spinal Cord Injury Association. Michelle?
Sharon.
Oh, you want Sharon?
Okay. Yep, my name is Sharon. I am a T5 incomplete. Been in a wheelchair for 7.5 years. Will be 8 years this October. And I'm at the Spinal Cord Association now, helping Karen as the peer mentor specialist.
You also serve on the board, right?
And I serve on the board. Yes, I do.
So does Gene.
Yep.
And but he's not here.
Go ahead, Eric.
My name is Eric. I've had my disability since birth. I'm 50 years old, and my injury is around a T11. It was a birth injury. And what else are we saying about ourselves?
Since birth, so I guess that's your whole life, however old you happen to be.
Yeah.
Whatever you
Gray
want.
hairs. So
If you're currently doing therapy with anybody or anything.
I do currently work at Arizona Spinal Cord Injury. So I'm a part of many groups. So, and I'm not currently doing therapy. So.
All right. Let's see, Michelle.
Hi, my name is Michelle. I'm a L2 quarter Aquana, incomplete. Been injured since '06. I do PT every single week. I exercise every day and swim every day.
Nice. Good for you. Good to stay active. How about you, Sharon? Oop. Maybe Sharon can't hear us. Okay. Corbin?
Sorry,
Oh, there's Sharon.
I've
There's
got the
Sharon.
mute button
Hold on.
because I'm
Hold on, Corbin.
so much noise.
Okay. Go ahead, Sharon.
So well, I'm sorry, what was the question again?
How long have you been using a wheelchair for? Maybe why you use the wheelchair and if you're still in therapy.
So I have been using the wheelchair since I left rehab, and so that'll be over 7 years. I'm in a manual chair. I use a smart drive now to preserve my shoulders.
Okay.
Which is, kind of nice, but I do occupational therapy and physical therapy. I do physical therapy twice a week and occupational therapy once a week.
Okay. And then Michelle?
Yes, I introduced myself.
Oh, I did, Michelle. I'm sorry. You blacked away. Corbin. I'm not ignoring you,
Ralph.
Corbin. Sorry. Go ahead, Corbin. Unmute, Corbin. Unmute, Corbin. There you go.
Still can't hear you.
Go to Ralph while he tries to get it done.
Okay. Well, Corbin's
Ralph
playing
is
around there,
muted too.
figuring out what's going on. Ralph, almost last.
And you're muted, Ralph.
Ralph, you're muted. There you go.
I can hear you now.
I can hear you now.
Go ahead, Ralph.
My name is Ralph Sweeney. Been in the wheelchair 6 years. Have muscular dystrophy and also whole body coordination, injured my spine.
All right. Thanks, Ralph. And last is Corbin.
My name's Corbin. I guess I'm one of the instructors. Been injured T12 since 1992. I have my helper here, and I'm actually doing physical therapy right now because of a dislocated clavicle.
Ooh, ouch. Well, that's not good.
Yeah. I don't recommend it. It's not a very pleasant experience.
Okay. Well, welcome everybody to our group here this afternoon. Since we met up last week talking about transfers to different surfaces and different places, did anybody have any questions from that last time? Did anything pop up in your mind from last class? Sarah?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, you know what? My floor to wheelchair transfers have gotten a lot better.
Really? Well, good for you.
Practice, yeah.
That's
But
excellent.
I'm actually taking these classes at the request of my, my medical team and physical therapy and stuff.
Okay.
So that, I can just kind of sharpen my skills.
Yeah, because it never hurts to help to practice things and get out and do things because, we're all continually aging here. So we, always need to be practicing just to get better and better at stuff and just to make it easier and easier to do stuff. So that's great that you're doing that.
Yep.
Anybody else have any comments or questions from last week's class before we move on to this week's topics? I'm going to take from the silence that the answer is no. Okay. So we did such a good job that no one had any questions. Excellent. So the topic for tonight's class is we call it managing your environment. So normally we are going over things in the chair. So for instance, opening and closing doorways, wheelies, elevators, even stairs and ramps as well. So we're gonna kind of. Oops, someone's just joining us.
Amber.
I'll let you finish connecting. Hi, Amber. Go ahead and, oh, and hi, Amber's child.
Sorry. I apologize.
That's okay. We're just finishing introductions. So since you're just getting on, go ahead and reintroduce yourself, and why you're, how long you've been in a chair, why, and if you're still in therapy.
Okay. I'm Amber. I'm a physical therapy assistant. Therapy. I'm not in wheelchair. I'm interested in helping out further with wheelchair. Also have a daughter that uses it from time to time. Overall interest in learning more.
So where you work now, are you doing a lot of things with wheelchairs with people? Do you see a lot of people in chairs?
Not very often. It's more infrequent, but when we do, it's more just setting up and getting them transferred from low table to in and out of the chair.
Okay. Okay. Are you, do you work inpatient or outpatient?
Outpatient.
Outpatient. Okay. Okay, cool. So we were just finishing up if anybody had any questions about from last week's class, if anything popped up. So so I'll still ask you the same thing. If you had any questions from last week's class at all.
Not that I know of. It was very informative. I was
Good.
Really appreciative.
Good. And that's what we hope that these classes are, is it, you know, even if you take away a small tidbit, that makes them worthwhile for us to do them, just to giving you something to either, in your case, take to your patients, or for you guys that are, and gals that are in chairs, hopefully there's something to make things a little bit easier and better for you. So that's great to see. So I was just starting to go over what we would normally do for the managing your environment class. So as I said, doorways, ramps, wheelies, curbs, elevators, and things like that. So hopefully some of you guys that are at home can get near a doorway and kind of talk about setup for a doorway. So I'm going to put you on the spot, Dominic, because I see a door right behind you. So can you talk about what what kind of things you do and look at for your door there, and what how you go about opening and closing a door there. So I'm going to start with Dominic, and then I see Corbin set up at his sliding door, which is great. It's a different door, which is terrific. So I'll let you start first, Dominic. Go ahead.
Okay. So actually, it's kind of interesting that you say it, because it popped into my head as you were talking. I'm in a rental house right now, and I've gone through and just made a couple modifications for access. And one of the things that's usually a big deal with, like, especially older homes, is doorways usually aren't wide enough for a typical wheelchair to get through. And one of the major changes that I found a while ago, they call them zero impedance or clamshell hinges. And it's actually a door hinge that the way it's made is so that when the door swings open, it isn't in the doorway anymore. It actually goes out of the doorway. So you get to take full advantage of the whole entire door jamb opening. That was one of the changes I made. And then kind of as a little bit of OCD, a little bit of anal retentive, because all of the door handles in the house were all different, either brass or silver, and they were all the old knob style. I changed every one to the same standard lever style, just so it was easier. My grip is fine, but it's just easier to be able to tap a handle to open a door.
Can I interrupt you for just a moment, Dominic? Yeah. So I'm actually on my phone here, so hopefully I can get that. So can everybody see that? That's an offset door hinge.
There you go.
So
yeah.
The pink is the door frame, and the wood grain is the actual door. And you can see that it allows the door, when it opens, to be even with the door frame. So essentially it's making the door the thickness of the door opening essentially wide, or taking away the thickness of the door. So you end up about 1.5 inches wider there. For someone who's just barely clearing, that can be a big help in getting in and out. And you can get those actually at Home Depot. And these are online. They call it an expandable door hinge, and they are $24. And I'm assuming that's for a pair or for 3 of them. It doesn't
Yes.
specifically say on here. Is that a yes, Dominic?
Yeah, it is for the pair. The boxes always come with a pair. Here you
There
can
you
see the door lever that I changed to, instead of just your typical round knob. And then
And why the lever versus a doorknob?
biggest thing was just it's a little bit easier. My grip strength is fine, but the like ADA code is to change everything to a lever for people that are quadriplegic or can't grip a door handle enough to spin it. For me, it was aesthetics and basically just an easier thing. If I've got my lap full of something or I'm just kind of jamming through, it's really easy to just be able to kind of slap the door handle itself and open the door. That made it a whole lot easier. And then, I don't know the best I can show it, but you might be able to see the door opening. And I changed.
Yeah, I could see that well. So it really opens it up nicely.
You figure a door panel is, I think, 1.5 inches, 1 3/4 inches. So by being able to open that door and get it clear the door jamb, that gives you that extra space. And like the very first room I did it in was our bathroom, because my wheelchair would literally rub against the door and the door jamb. It was just right to get into the bathroom. So by putting that hinge in there, it opened the doorway up. Now I don't rub. I'm not messing up the door and the door jamb and all of that sort of stuff. So it gave me access, which was really big. And like you were saying, $24, and I think it maybe took me half an hour to change the door hinges out. So very, very simple change, very easy to do, and opens up all the doorways. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I did with the doors. I didn't really change anything like exterior door wise. I took the door off from my laundry room because it's just a laundry room and it's around the corner. So instead of having to open it up into a skinny hallway, I just took the door right off. That really didn't make many changes.
Okay. So talk about then how you're actually going through the door and what kind of things you're setting up in your position for going in and out of the door there.
Oh yeah. So I'll close it, because when the door swings in, you obviously want to be like out of the way of the door. So when I roll up, I usually roll up, if I can, kind of side away from the door open, the door itself, and then I'll pull myself back as I'm opening the door and be able to roll through that way. If you're coming through and the door pushes open, it's the same kind of thing, but I almost use the door. I use the door to stabilize myself and pull myself through the door opening, because I only have one hand on my wheel. So in order to keep you straight and keep you guided through the door, I'll use this handle just to stabilize myself as well. It's harder when the door opens towards you, because you have to find the way to be able to get out of the way of the door so that you can go through. And then like sometimes one of the hard parts is like in my backyard, there's a bit of a threshold on the floor between the outside and inside to keep water from coming into the house. And so that one's a little bit tougher to navigate. I have to actually lift my front wheels up a little bit, just kind of take my weight off from the front casters of my chair so that they roll up and over that little bit of a lip easier. And again, I'm using the door handle to pull myself through and help guide myself through the door opening.
So do you find that kind of lever door handle is a lot easier to pull yourself through with than just a regular doorknob? I know that you have good hand strength, but is it at
Actually,
least
yeah.
coordination wise too?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just that much easier. It gives you something to grab a hold of. You know, you can grab a hold of the actual lever and you can push like kind of the middle of it where it pivots. You can push down on that if you need to, or pull, or, you know, and I have, again, I'm T5 para, so I don't have the trunk support. I don't have those core muscles. So for me to balance and hold my upper body up, that, you know, having something with my arms is, you know, that's very, very beneficial.
Excellent. So as far as that kind of a door goes, does anybody do anything different? Eric or Jean, or even Michelle, I see you popping in there. Do you do anything
Yeah,
different?
well, I pretty much blow through most doors, but I do have a problem with the thresholds. But the way I do it is similar to Dominic, but I don't mind if they're going in and out. A matter of fact, I like to pull them instead of pushing them. For me, it's easier because I just come in at an angle, I pull it, let my dog through first, and then I blow through. And if they're pushed, I just blow through them and pray for the best. And it always works out.
Okay.
I always think speed, because the doors are heavy for me. So I always think speed works. But my issue is the thresholds. So when I'm blowing through a door, you're leaning forward. I'm leaning, at least I am. I'm leaning forward most of the time to get the door open and to let my dog through. I have problems tipping, and my chair is really tippy. And I like it that way. But I still find, depending on the threshold, I find problems with thresholds getting over them, and I normally have to rock until the chair finally goes. So
okay.
One of the things that you might consider to do with your threshold is the trim like goes around your door. It's beveled, so it's like a ramp, a little ramp. You can take a piece, go to Home Depot or any hardware store, buy a piece of trim like that.
Excuse me, Gary, I'm talking about commercial doors, not my house. I don't have any in my house.
You could get some, well, wherever you need the door jamb is there that gives you the problem. Put one of those down on the floor in front of the door jamb. You kind of make it a ramp, and then your caster will just roll right up over it.
Yeah, but if she's going somewhere like out commercially,
out,
like
yeah.
at a store or something,
Yeah.
that's not.
Oh, it's not at your
Is
house.
that, is
I thought
that
you
what
said
I'm
leave it.
understanding, Michelle? That's what you do out and
Right.
about? Okay.
Correct. When I'm
Gotcha.
I
going
thought she said let her dog out. She was having problems with her.
No, she lets her dog go first. As in her dog, I think, leads the way, right, Michelle?
Yes.
Well, but she was
Correct.
still saying she
So I
needed to
don't
take a hard
slam
run at it to get over it.
I have
Well, whatever.
But that's a good idea, Gary. That
It
if I mean, you know, for somebody who is having issues with that in a more public setting, then that could be certainly a viable option. Yes.
One of the other things that I forgot to mention too, in bringing up like commercial doors or you know, public access doors, a lot of times they have the big door closers, the mechanical arms on the top to close the door behind you, and a lot of times they're set very, very heavy, so it's very difficult to get through a doorway. And one of the ways is, again, if you're pushing through a door that's opening away from you, is using that handle to push through, and then either you grab your outside wheel and push your chair through, or I've even grabbed the door jamb itself, the trim or the lip in the door stop, and pull myself through. Or what you can do is you can actually put the front of your chair, like your caster housing, up against the door and push your chair, and that will swing the door open as well. So if you do have difficulty, there are a couple different ways, and some of those doors can actually be really heavy and really difficult to get through. So there's a couple different ways you can do that as well.
Yeah, because I know that when we've done this, like at the gym at Good Samaritan Hospital, Banner University Medical Center in the rehab building, that there are some really super heavy doors in there that are really good for that, being able to push open using the base of your chair and just wheel it through. Is that what that I'm understanding? That's what you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If that heavy door is at your work, or some door that you go in through a lot, a work door or anything else, talk to the people there. They can lighten that up by just making an adjustment. There's a screw on there that can adjust that pull, and it won't be so tight. So it's easier to go through and hold the door.
Yeah, that's a good point, Gary.
One of the things I've had to deal with in the past is during my internship, I was working in the hospital, and I had to work going through double doors to go into a psych ward, and you have to use a key while you're doing that. So you're using a key on heavy doors, so you're approaching a key, and so I had to do a two-hand way. So I had to approach the key, but then I had to use both hands to actually get through the doors. So sometimes that became very difficult to do. It was kind of a dance, to tell you the truth, and because when you got that key, you can't use your speed to go through. But I agree with Michelle. A lot of times when I'm going through doors, little motion goes a long ways for me because it helps me to use leverage to get through a door if I have to push it open or even pull it open. Just that momentum of swinging back and forth can help too. At my home, I have a lip. I don't know, it's about that high that I have to go up to get into my house, and I haven't gotten it. I haven't gotten adjusted because I'm able to work with it, but I have to pop my wheels over the lip, and then I use both my hands to pull myself to the door, and so I have to do it that way as well. And then when I go out off the lip, I usually pop a small wheelie as I'm going because I get better control that way.
Okay. Good points.
And that's how I do curbs, by the way. Same. I'm popping a wheelie. All my control, my front ones, and my casters aren't hindering me from doing a controlled fall.
It looks like we lost Gene momentarily, so hopefully he comes back because I wanted to find out, how he does things from a power chair. But Corbin, since you're sitting in front of your sliding door there, talk about how you utilize that and what kind of things you got to go through there that are a little bit different than a swinging door.
Okay, so I've got the sliding door set up right here, and I actually have this like magnetic split screen to keep bugs out of this back room. Because a lot of times in the evening my office is right in this back patio room, but then where I work on engines and stuff like that is right outside this door. So I leave the door open when it's nice out, but I don't want bugs inside. So instead of being able to just grab the sliding door right here, there's a screen right here. So I have to break the magnetic thing and open up the door. But the magnetic thing splits. So basically when I do a wheelie to go over this threshold, it allows that to split a little bit.
And how big is the threshold you have to go over there? Oh, okay. Now I can see it. About an inch?
Maybe a total of an inch.
Okay.
But when I do that, the screen splits open. And I just do that, and then even coming out, and I can just come out.
I like that magnetic screen, by the way. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
they are pretty cool.
Yeah.
You have to get it set up right because I've done it a couple times where it's caught on something, and I've landed on it with my caster and yanked it down from the top. But it works out pretty good. And Roxy's learned how to use it. She's not gonna do it now.
Yeah.
But then to shut it, I can't just grab the handle where the handle is because the screen is right there. So I have to break through the screen and come over to the handle and do it. And I took the door off the tracks and everything like that and cleaned the rollers and everything like that because hardly anybody ever does that, and a lot of your sliding doors will get really sticky and they won't shut. Mine I can just flick with my finger, and it like I have to shut it twice because it'll go so hard that it'll bounce back a little bit. And and then I have to double check and make sure it's done.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you, because it looked like it closed really easily, and I was going to ask if you had done some kind of adaptation to it. But yeah, I guess cleaning
really.
the rollers would go a long way towards that.
Yeah, not really an adaptation, just good maintenance.
Yeah, no one ever does that to their
Right.
doors.
And it's actually getting a little sticky now. Well, the biggest thing with it being in a chair too is that every time I go in and out of this threshold, I'm dropping stuff right in the track.
Oh, right. So from your backyard, whatever's there, you're bringing in with you.
So I actually go through maintenance a little bit every time. So I'm gonna go to a different door that's right here to kind of show. I got to move a couple things.
Yeah, I think you need a bigger toolbox there.
You think so?
Yeah.
That's only one of them.
A bigger one and a brighter one.
Yeah, it needs to be brighter.
I get a brighter toolbox. I do it like that so I can find it.
But you still can't find tools in your drawer.
Yeah, they're all green too.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
All right, so this one, I don't know. Can you see this one?
Yeah, windows on.
Yeah,
and the doggy door at the bottom.
The sun's coming right in this one. But I'll sort of give you an idea of what Dominic sort of touched on with the levers. Is this door drives me nuts because it's a door knob and it's really close to that weather strip thing. So that thing, I've done it a number of times where, see my hand is on it. Let me take the phone off here. So when my hand gets on it, I've done it a number of times where like my hand is hitting that extra little weather strip. So I need to change this one to a lever. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But yeah, this is like 90 degrees from my patio door. This comes out onto a little, I don't know, it's like a little other weird little patio. So, I mean, that's where I just was. You can see the rally car right there. But so this door right here is just where it's just that handle is just super close to that. So I'm going to change that one to a lever.
So does that
it's
one
even
have
hard
a
to close?
threshold if you have, Corbin, does that one have a threshold?
No, this one
you
doesn't
have
have
to
a
deal with?
threshold.
Okay. So you don't have to do a wheelie there.
It's
You're just
weird
going
that
straight
it doesn't have a threshold. This is right. This is one of those doors where whoever did stuff on this house converted this room into a room instead of it used to be like an Arizona room, a screen room, and they didn't put any threshold there.
Okay.
So I get stuff like debris comes in underneath that door in the wind and stuff like that. But I guess that's about it for that.
Okay.
That's all I got to say about that.
Gene just sent an email that he got off because he had to go to another meeting for a minute, so he'll be back shortly.
Okay. I can show like the threshold of the front door. There's one on that door.
Please.
Okay, hold on a second. You might get a view of the ceiling and up my nose for a second.
Well, I prefer the ceiling. Oh yeah, oh boy, that's gonna leave a bad memory for me tonight. Especially since you froze in that position.
Let me grab the tripod. Let me grab the tripod here quick. Talk amongst yourselves.
So
coming in from this room, I have a little ramp on this door right here because it's a back patio, so it was down 4.5 inches or so. So I go up that one. I'll go to the front door. Go through the kitchen.
You need a GoPro.
Yes, he does.
I know, a wearable one.
Yeah.
Okay, so
drive a rally car and you don't have a GoPro? What?
I just need to wear them. I got like 4 or 5 of them, but I don't know how to hook them up to the phone for live stuff. Is that too bright? Can you see
It's
that?
not now. Now it's fine.
Okay, cool. So this one just has like a little threshold. So it used to have my house used to have a huge step right there. It was a big step up into the house. But I had this company come out and they did a ramp on it, on the house, from my driveway all the way up to the front door. So it's a little bit of a ramp, but like I can literally do one push. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. But like I can start right here and just one push. I'm going up the ramp.
So that took that sidewalk comes all the way up almost level with your doorway. Is that what kind of happens?
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. Okay.
Did you have to pay for that, Corbin, or was that something that you could that you found any money for, or how did that work?
This one was done by an organization called what was it called? I don't remember what it was called.
How's that again?
Something Ramps of Gratitude or something like that. It was an organization that does it for veterans.
Oh, very cool.
Hey, Eric. Eric
So they
Canning.
came in one. What's that?
Eric Canning, get a hold of Trish Serling over at Abilities 360. She's a resource person,
Okay.
and she worked for an organization that has all those resources, the people that do that.
Okay. Trish Serling?
Serling.
Okay. I'll reach out to her then. I know we have some resources on our website for some contracting, but I recently had someone that was asking for any funding that might be available or any assistance for getting stuff like this done. So I'll reach out to her. Thank you.
I can get you the information of this guy.
Yeah, anything you want to email me, go for it.
Okay.
Christine, have you had people talk to you about any success with doing like GoFundMe's for stuff like that at all?
Not for
For anybody?
home mods, but I think there are some access plans that if you write it that they need a certain type of modification, they might be able to pay for it.
Okay.
You just have to kind of talk to your case manager.
Ability 360 has a home mod program too.
So that's a good resource then for people to go to and utilize and talk to somebody there to see, what sort of modifications can I do to my home, and as well as the cost of them, and maybe some ways to get them funded too. Is
Yeah,
that
that's
kind of
Trish-
help that they can
that's
get from
Trish
360?
Serling.
Yeah, so she does all that, Gary?
Yeah, she's a resource director for that stuff over there.
Excellent.
All right.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'll definitely hook up with that and refer people to that. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so that's some place for everybody to think about. I know that Michelle, correct me if I'm wrong, you're in Tucson, right?
Yeah, I'm actually south of Tucson in Vail, but yes.
In Vail, okay, all right, yeah, close enough. What sorts of resources are down there like that, Karen or Gary?
I have no idea.
Let me check.
Okay. Do you have resources down there, Michelle?
Not really, but years ago when I first moved here in 09, we actually did find the company that came and did some modifications, and I just paid for supplies, and they donated the labor.
Oh, that's nice.
But it was really nice, but I don't know how we found them, and I don't recall who they were because it was a long time ago. So, and they weren't great because I had to get stuff fixed after they left. So, but it would be great if we had some resources down here.
Yeah, that would be nice. And certainly those you guys in Phoenix definitely make use of the resources over at the Ability 360 Center, and in certainly contacting. I'm sorry, what was her name again, Gary?
Trish Serling.
Trish Serling. Yeah, certainly contact her And if you've either got, for you therapists on the call, if you've got patients who need something done, that would be a good place for them to start. Or for you guys in chairs that are on the call, start there as well if you need to have adaptations done. And it looks like Corbin is showing Operation Enduring Gratitude. Is that who did that's who did the mods there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So and they help only veterans, or they do stuff for normal people too?
That I don't know.
Okay.
I think they try to focus on veterans, but we'll probably do other stuff. Charlie's a good guy. It took them over a year to get the project started, but once they did it, it was done in like 2.5 days.
Okay. But it's just something that's on a long waiting list, or just that they were just getting started with actually doing stuff?
I think he just had some logistical issues.
Okay. Okay.
Sometimes logistical, sometimes they're raising funds to pay for it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So here, this is an automatic door. Automatic closing. This is the one that goes out to my garage and laundry room. And what I've done on this one is I've done like a little spring-loaded stopper. I don't know if you can see that thing.
Oh yeah. That flips down, you mean, at the bottom there?
Yep. So I'm in the process of making like a flip down lever that I can use. But like when I open the door, as the door is going by, I can just flip that down. And when the door still opens with it down, and then wherever it stops, it stops. And then when I come in, I tied a string to it so I can yank the string and do that. But like I can put that stopper down right here. And so the door's held open halfway, but when I come in, I can push it open. And when I have groceries and stuff like that, I flip that down and throw the door open, and it stays open. And then this one has about an inch threshold too. So I just have to, kind of pop a little bit over that.
And that's a great low tech solution for holding a door open, especially those spring loaded doors. Because I know, like, my garage door is the same. In fact, my front door is spring loaded also, but my garage door is definitely spring loaded. That's a great solution for that, being able just to hold the, keep the door open for what you want to be able to do, especially like the garage where you might be coming in and out, bringing groceries on your lap or something like that. It's nice to have a door that'll stay open like that, and then just have this. I like the string and the low techness of that. That's pretty simple, easy solution.
Yeah. So I tied the string to the doorknob, and then it just goes down to the thing. And this thing is it has something that you could kick with your foot to flip the lever up.
Okay. And then I think that
I have a comment. I do have in my garage, I have one of those magnetic strips that it's just a magnet that you attach to the wall. I have it attached to my baseboard. And then, when I'm in my garage, of course my dog's in there right now, so I don't know if I can share it, but when I go through the garage, let's see if I can switch it, flip it around. I gotta need to take my background off.
Nice hibiscus.
See how right there? I know right there. That's the magnetic. Sorry, I've moved it a couple of times, but I've got that magnetic strip right at the end. So when I do open my door to the garage, let me see it when I go back up. So there's the magnet on the one side of the door, and then of course I just have to attach it.
Yeah.
And then of course my door is open. So I can swing it open and just leave the magnet on, and I can get in and out of my garage.
Yeah, and those magnets don't take a whole lot of pressure to release. I have one of those same kind of magnet on a door in my trailer that just easy to stay put. It's also easy to close.
So it's easy enough to close.
Yeah, that's nice.
I have an open sesame, and as much as I loved it when it worked, it broke too many times and it cost too much money to fix it. And so now I fixed it. Actually, my door got jammed
Yeah, I've
recently.
only had to, as you can see, there were the dents in the wall. I've done it like 3 times. But,
Yeah. Yeah, there's always dents in the walls.
you know, but there's always going to be, yeah, with my smart drive, I run into everything.
Yeah. And then, so what were you saying? I'm sorry, go ahead and finish, Michelle, what you were saying.
So I had the open sesame, and I had the guy come back and fix it. That was one of the things they actually put in for me, and that's on my garage door because that's where I have the most issues as well. I had to put a ramp there too, and because even though I can waddle, I can't get up that step even though my feet. But I use it for the wheelchair and walking. But the open sesame breaks a lot. And I've had the door like not be able to open or close. And just recently it happened again. And my son came up there and unfix it again for me. So I almost just want to take it off. So, but I don't have it spring loaded anymore because I just have it disengaged.
And for those people who don't know what it is, can you explain what Open Sesame is?
I can go show it to you, but it's not functional right now.
Okay, maybe just describe what it does.
Well, I can, what it
okay.
does is it opens, well, I have to tell you anyhow, but it opens automatically, and you just can press either like a garage remote, and there's also a keypad. All right, let me see. I will go and show it to you. Let's see. It's right there on, above the door. You see it?
Yep.
All right, and then in the garage, there is a, see, I just have it open. I don't really care. There's a keypad as well. And so you just punch the keypad and then it'll open automatically, but the damn thing never works. So I gave up on it.
Okay. And you would have, is there something like portable, like a remote that you could use with it as well?
There's a garage remote. So you can use that. And I used it as long as it worked. Had the man come and fix it. It was like, I don't remember what it was. I think $150 just to fix it. And it was like not even worth it because it broke again right after.
Okay, yeah, I get that. And there's all, I mean, not to get off onto the topic of technology, but there's all sorts of things out there for things like door opening and, just controlling things within your home. I mean, that's a whole nother discussion here.
I mean, you could,
things, I'm sorry, go ahead, Eric.
I was just going to say, you can wire your whole home nowadays. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
There's so much you can do. You could control lights and everything. So. Yeah,
and especially this day and age with Alexa and everything, it makes it really easy to adapt all sorts of stuff. That's really a whole lot less expensive than it was, just even a few years ago to be able to do stuff in homes.
Yep.
Be nice to do our dishes and laundry.
What's that, Karen?
Be nice if we could get it to do our dishes and laundry.
I'm looking for the robotic cook. The
there you go.
That actually cook for you. I'm
Get
looking
one of
for
those
that.
robots to do that, and that'll take care of it for you.
I did break down and bought a generic Roomba vacuum cleaner.
Do you like it?
I love it. Until your dog takes a dump in the middle of the night and the vacuum's on auto vacuum.
Ew, that's messy, I bet.
Yeah.
So when it says in the commercials that it picks up wet and dry things, that's a bit more wet than it's used to.
Yeah.
Oh,
that must be really hard to clean.
Oh, it was
Yeah,
3 hours
exactly.
worth, and I threw the brush away and ordered a new one.
Ugh.
Yeah, I would see doing that.
Oh, it was awful. Awful.
Just so everybody knows, Karen posted on the Zoom group chat. If you look at the bottom of your screen where if you move your cursor along the bottom of the screen where it says chat and you click on that, she put on there a link for funding resources. So you can click on that, or I think, can you save it off of there, Karen? Are you able to do that? Is that something that students can do? Okay, so you can just like highlight it and save it.
Yeah.
I couldn't copy and pasted it, but it opened up in a browser, and so I just left it in the browser.
Yeah, and just save the browser that way. There you go.
Yeah.
And then that way you can, it just gives you some information about funding resources. And so that's through who, Karen? Is this?
United Spinal.
Okay.
And I'll go in, I'll check, because I didn't check any of the links or anything. So that'll give me something to do next week to go check out all the websites and
Okay. Yeah, make sure it's not taking you to some back alley somewhere.
yeah. Yeah. And
Okay,
then
excellent.
scared.
So anybody else have any other doors or questions about doors before we move on? Sarah, you look like you might have a question.
Yeah, yeah, I would like to show you guys a little something here, if that's okay.
You bet. Please.
Yeah, I have this special door right here
So
where all I gotta do is just,
so do you know how to either turn your phone around so it's facing, or okay, I see the doorknob.
okay. Yeah, like this. And then all I gotta do is just come in through here. And I've got the same on my bathroom door. And you see my front door right here. I got that too. So, and I don't have, I'll show you guys here through and open it up for you guys to see. But I've got the thing right here.
Okay, I see. Oh yeah, I see. So
Yeah,
this is
all
your
I gotta do
front
is just
door.
open this up.
Okay, gotcha.
And I don't even have a lamp right there, so.
That's a nice thing too, not to have a deal with a ramp.
Yeah,
You just go
so,
right into
but
your
if
home.
I had a little ramp there, then I probably would have to do a wheelie pop to get outside. And my other apartment had that, and, you know, I really struggled to get in and out of the door through with my wheelchair, so. I was really happy when my apartment manager had this one available for me.
Yeah, so it makes it easier for you to roll into and out of your home then.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Except I found myself having to make a rush in here 3 days ago because I had a tire inner tube blowout, but.
Uh-oh. Yeah, that happens. That's life in the fast lane, right?
Yeah.
All
So
right.
I was rolling into here as fast as I could to get the inner tube changed out.
All right. Well, thank you for showing us your doors there, Sarah. Anybody else have any questions or want to show anything else that they're doing that are different?
Pocket doors are a good thing too.
What kind of doors?
A pocket door. That's what we have in our bathroom.
Yeah, because it doesn't take up much. It doesn't take up any space.
Take up any space. No.
Yeah, and you have certainly have usually a wider doorway because there's less trim involved. But it could be a narrower door because just the physical size of the door. But yeah, that's the nice thing about pocket doors is that they certainly take up a whole lot less space. Hey, there's Gene back.
Hello, everybody. Sorry about my absence.
That's all right. I told them that you just ditched us to go drink bourbon or something.
Damn it, Brian.
Hey, so we're still doing doorways. And I know that since you're in power, do you have a doorway that you could show us what you do when you're opening and closing to kind of get through in your power chair?
Yeah, I can. And like
cool.
Like I forgot his name. The other gentleman from Michigan. I've had swing away hinges since I moved back from Craig 26 years ago. So they're definitely a godsend, and they keep the doors from getting all banged up. Although you might see from some of my video, I still have some doors that are a little banged up. It's not me. I think it's the people pushing my chair. Because that's my story. I'm gonna go with.
Yeah, you should stick with that story then.
All right. That's it, Dominic, right? Dominic.
That's me, yeah.
All right, let me spin this around here.
Ooh, I'm getting dizzy now. Whoa, I'm really dizzy now.
Oh.
I still see you, Gene. There we go. Flipped camera around.
So, it's my partner in crime, Rico Suave. But down here, I've got those swing away hinges that we talked about.
Yeah, the offset hinges, yeah.
Yeah, and I've got the levered handles for me because obviously I don't have any hand grip as a quadriplegic. I rely on those a lot. Another thing I did, let me turn the light on here.
I didn't know we were going to get home tours today. This is great.
So this bathroom here, there's a wall there and a wall there. It used to be squared off, but I cut it at an angle so I can get into the bathroom. So it used to be on this wall over here to get into it, but I cut it at an angle so I can get into the bathroom a
So
lot
you have a
easier.
straight shot into it?
Oh,
I do, and I have, this is our guest bathroom. And I used to use this bathroom all the time. So this one always also has a roll-in shower on it too. So I've got 2 roll-in showers, which is good and bad. Ronnie would like a tub, but we don't have one. So anybody who in a wheelchair visits, they can also take a shower, which I think is kind of nice. But that's the extent of modifications that I've made to my doors in this house.
Cool. Thanks for showing that, Gene.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
So what we're going to do now, unless there's somebody else that's got questions about doorways or anything, we're going to move on then to wheelies. And are you there, Corbin, to talk about wheelies, since it looks like you're in a nice flat area?
Sure.
Yeah. So kind of go through, talk about the whys and then the hows, and then we'll move from there, since you're right next to a very nice little curb there. It looks like perfect setup. Or
Yep.
you can jump the curb into the pool there too.
Okay, so wheelies are important for a bunch of the things that we've talked about, getting over thresholds. In the last section, we'll go over some chair setup that will make wheelies either harder or easier. But you basically just want to, if you keep your core, your body in the same place, and you can back up a little bit, and if you push forward fast, you'll pop your front wheels up off the ground. If your chair is set up with what we call a light front end, like mine is, basically all I have to do is breathe, and I'm in a wheelie. So I've got my axle is very forward from the backrest of the chair, so it's more underneath my body. So my chair turns very, very quickly and easily, and I can get up into wheelies very, very easily. In fact, when I'm going on sidewalks and stuff like that, I can basically, just do this, and not with no hands, I can just flex my hips and pop wheelies, and my front end just kind of floats over any irregularities in sidewalks and stuff like that.
Okay. So does anybody else? I guess the question is, are you able to do wheelies, and how do you utilize them in getting around in your mobility?
Well, first of all, especially if I'm coming up a curb, then yeah, I have to lift my front caster wheels up to get up over that curb.
How tall a curb are you able to go up, Sarah?
About something like that.
Okay, a couple inches, it looks like.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And do you have, when you're going up the curb, are you able to go down the curb as well?
I do that pretty good, yes.
Okay. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So does anybody else that does wheelies like Dominic or Eric, do you guys do anything different than what Corbin was showing? And if so, show us.
For me, it's my chair set up very similar to Corbin's, where it's very easy to pop the front end up. I use wheelies even without thinking now. I use them so regularly for so many different things. One of the things that was kind of a joke. My whole backyard is all gravel. It's all stone, and I have a storage unit in the back that I store like car parts and stuff like that. And there's been multiple occasions where I'll have something on my lap and having to go through the gravel in a wheelie and having something on my lap. And so you have to, adjust for that extra weight, and be able to navigate through. And then the rocks, of course, that adds to it. But I gotta say, I gotta, say it again. Corbin said it with the chair setup, being able to set your axle at the right position, so that it's comfortable for you. One of the big things that I had to keep in mind is I do a lot of traveling, and traveling with a suitcase, like a rolling suitcase, was very, very difficult for me, getting through the airports and just getting around anywhere, pushing this rolling suitcase. So I started using Expedition backpacks, like you see on the wall there, and that way I could put all my stuff on my backpack and then just push to the airports and push wherever I needed to go. But what that did was that put extra weight towards the back of my chair and made my original setup very, very tippy. The front end would come up because I had all that weight on the back. So I had to find that sort of sweet spot of it still being tippy enough that I can go over cracks in the sidewalk, and be able to do wheelies, but not so tippy that I was falling over backwards when I did have that weight on my back. So chair design is very crucial in that. Same thing with going up and down curbs. Anytime you're off your front wheels, for anything, your chair design makes a big difference. And especially for me, because I don't have, again, that core support, those muscles to be able to balance myself. And like I saw Corbin, he did like a little wiggle, and the front end was able to go up. And so he has a little bit more core control than what I have to be able to do that without my wheels, pushing back and forth.
Can you show that, Dominic?
You want just to like pop up, or?
Yeah, just go into a wheelie there. Yeah, just so you can see so we can see the difference between what you've got to do and what Corbin's doing.
For me, again, my center of gravity, my axle is quite a bit forward. So I don't have to do a lot of effort to bring that front end up. For me, I can do the same thing. It's very, very slight in my movement in the front to pop that front end up and balance. And one of the other things that I do too is I can adjust where my upper body is, and that will actually raise and lower the front of my chair. So if I do need to go over like a higher curb, you lean forward. It's all about balancing over that rear axle. And then, you can turn and do whatever in that wheelie. It was something crucial for me in the very beginning. And like I said, I use it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Even there's another thing too. I don't know if I have, I can do it on this back wall. So, we're in our chairs all day long, and being in a seated position, a lot of times that puts stress on your back. Your back starts to get sore. You've been sitting in the same position for so long. And so one of the things that I learned was I can back up to a wall, and I'll pop a wheelie, and I put my back up against the wall. So now I'm kind of in a reclined position, and I can either hold my wheels and just kind of rest my back for a little bit, and be in that different position. Or for me, I've got what's called D's locks. It's a hub lock in my chair, and there's just one lever in the front that engages both locks. Now my hands are free. Now I can do whatever, but I'm still in a wheelie. I'm still reclined and taking that weight off from my spine.
Yeah, I've actually taken a nap.
Yeah, it becomes a position of comfort. Yeah, and you could take a nap in that position.
Yeah, I've been in airports where I'm up against a pillar, do that, and lock my wheels, and I can take a half an hour nap real easy.
And miss your plane?
And miss your plane. Yeah, there you
I
go.
almost did one time. I almost did, actually. You know what? I'm not currently in my chair, but you know, you asked me to comment on the wheelies. My chair's set up a little stiffer than Dominic's and Corbin's as far as the wheelie goes. I'm very top heavy. I have a small lower body and a very well developed upper body because I've had my injury since birth, and so I'm like a weeble wobble upside down, really, is what it comes up to. And so when I set my wheelies, though, I set them a little tougher. But like even in cobblestones, you know, I find I'm constantly rocking back and forth in a rhythm just to go over that sort of stuff. There is a device out there that's nice called a freewheel, but it's very expensive. It's like $500. I know some people that have it and love it, but if you ever find it used, let me know because I want it. So I'm just saying, if you ever want to donate to me, that would be great.
Donate to the Eric Fund. Okay,
to the
that's
Eric
good.
Fund.
I can't afford
Yeah.
one either.
For curbs, I can usually do, I think 3, 4. God, I think I've almost done 5 inches one time on a curve. I mean, but the way I used to do it, I can't really do it anymore with my setup. But when I was a little bit younger, I had a quickie wheelchair that was a little more bucketed. And when I say bucketed, I mean, you know, when you're sitting in your chair, I was like this in my chair. So when I would tip, I was squished together, and so I was really settled in that chair. Now I'm less. It's less of a bucket, and so I'm a little more loose in my chair. But when you're more bucketed, you're more form fitted to your chair, and so when I would go, I would literally go fast, pop a wheelie, and I would literally bump the curb and bump up. So I literally would smash into the curve with my wheels, and that would throw me up. But I don't necessarily recommend that, especially to first-time chair users. You definitely want, I've fallen out doing this. You know, is being young and stupid really is where that came from. But
Yeah, the things you do in your youth, right?
yeah, you learn when you get older because it hurts more. Um,
And since we have been talking about wheelies and as well as talking about curbs, I think Corbin is set up now to show us what he does for curbs there. How tall? I saw you with a tape measure there, Corbin. How tall is that curb?
4.5 inches.
4.5 inches.
Yeah,
Okay.
nice.
So kind of talk about what the things you look for when you're going to go up a curb, and then we'll do the same thing going back down the curb. But talk about the things that you look at the curb, and then how you kind of assess it as you're approaching it, and what kind of things, how do you alter what you're doing when you're going to go up that curb?
Okay, so like Eric said, you know, a lot of people think that it's a momentum thing, and it surely can be, but that's a very violent action, and you have a real potential of popping your inner tubes if you have air in your tires, because if your tires aren't inflated to the proper pressure, they're going to be soft. So when you impact that curb, it's gonna pinch that tire right against your rim, and the tube is going to get what we call a snake bite. It's going to get a little tiny hole on each side where the tube got pinched between the tire and the curb and your rim of your wheelchair, of your wheel, and you're going to get 2 little holes and get a flat real quick. What I like to do is I like to teach curbs. It's a timing thing, makes it a lot easier, and it's a weight transfer. Okay, this new chair that I have is about 17 pounds, and I'm about 185, 190. So if I do this correctly, I can use my weight as the as leverage to get me up this curb. So when I'm coming up to the curb like this, I'm on the curb, and my next push wants to be right in time when my wheel gets right here, and I can literally just do a little bit of a weight and just
nice.
So I lifted my body weight maybe a half inch, So as I did that, my hands were just a little bit in front of the top of the wheel, and I did just a little bit of a lift, just hopped my body up just a little bit, and now that puts all of my weight on the downward stroke of the wheel. So it helps roll my chair right up the curb with very little effort. I mean, as you saw, I still had my casters on the curb when I started that. I was 2 inches away from the curb to get that much, a little bit of momentum on that push.
Can you do it again, Corbin?
Yep.
I want to stress too, Corbin was talking about it, and one of the biggest things and one of the best advantages again is instead of trying to force yourself up onto that curb, and like he was saying, you know, with the pinch flat and catching that front edge, and doing it in a momentum way, if you practice and practice and practice, it's very much a technique thing. And it just gets easier and easier and easier. The timing and the technique to it just make it super simple. And that's almost a 5-inch curve. I mean, that's a pretty tall step. And Corbin makes it look super easy.
So I've traveled all over the world and seen guys do this as a momentum.
Oh, we lost audio.
You muted yourself there, Corbin.
Where they do, and I've seen guys mistime it a little bit, or they don't have their casters up as high, and now you got a guy that's close to 200 pounds pushing pretty quick, and you catch your front casters on that curb. I've seen guys snap both casters off of their chair because they nail it. You know, I don't know, can you see my casters?
Yep.
So they nail right about here. My chair's not set up that I can put my footrest up there and rest it on there. But I've seen guys nail their casters on the curb and just literally snap both casters right off. Now you talk about having to practice doing a wheelie, because now they're doing a wheelie all the way back to the hotel or all the way back wherever they're going.
Or you end up on the ground, and we practice what we did last week with chair to floor transfers and back up.
Exactly.
I actually did it a few months ago because I really fail at wheelies, and I do use momentum to get up the little 1-inch lip in my garage, and I missed, and I went flying across the garage without my chair.
Yep.
Yeah, because that's usually what happens is you end up splayed out across your across wherever ground is in front of you.
Yeah.
Because I usually just go down the garage ramp, right, so I'm full speed, and I missed.
I wasn't paying attention the other day, and just a crack in the sidewalk, and it just caught me, and I went. But I mean, it can be that small. That's what I'm saying. You know, it's.
Well, I learned not to use the rollerblade wheels because they get caught all the time. I've had many falls with them on my original chair. The chair I use now has the bigger casters, but I got caught in those drainage ditches last year when I went to PT, and it was raining at the time, and I got caught and I went flying. It happens.
You know what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, Sarah.
I've got 5-inch caster wheels on my wheelchair. Back in December when I went to get fitted for my wheelchair and had the prescription in and everything, they asked me I told them, well, I want caster wheels that are not going to get stuck in cracks. And so they recommended that I got 5-inch semi-pneumatic caster wheels, and it works great for me.
Yeah. And I don't think that there's not a caster out there that is not going to get caught in any kind of crack at all, because there's always you're going to find, you go out there looking, especially if you get out and about, you're going to find a crack somewhere that will suck your caster into it. Would that be a fair statement? Everybody else, Dominic, Corbin, what do you guys think?
Yeah.
Lots of heads nodding. Yeah.
The two things that I will absolutely suggest, and I don't know, I didn't actually look at the schedule in terms of like talking about wheelchair mechanics and stuff like that, but the two things that I will absolutely recommend, one are frog legs or some sort of a suspension fork. They have made a tremendous difference of just even rolling over the cracks and sidewalks that like Eric was talking, how that got caught. And the other thing is too, is going with a wider caster. A lot of people think that it's the diameter of the caster that makes it float over stuff more, but you get a better footprint even with a smaller diameter caster if you go wider. And they have like inch and a half casters. I changed over, and I'm gonna put my computer on the ground and show you my setup. Please forgive the hair. It's been a couple weeks. I haven't cleaned them out.
Well, good. Then save them for the last class, because that's one of the things that we're going to talk about and do. So be prepared to do that.
So if you can see, this is a 3-inch by 1.5-inch caster, and then frog leg suspension fork. There's actually a rubber bushing in here that gives it suspension. That has been the fastest rolling, best setup that I've been able to find so far. If you do go with a larger diameter, it does help, but you don't have to. I've really found that width was that was the ticket. And like Corbin mentioned, I think Eric mentioned it too, is traveling abroad and going with like cobblestones and things like that. I'm able to keep my wheelchair on all 4 wheels and not have to wheelie, because that suspension and those casters aren't getting caught in those cracks. So now I'm much more stable even, and not having to worry about wheelies and stuff like that.
Okay. Thanks, Tommy. So the last class that we're doing is where we're going to be talking about wheelchair setup, maintenance, and things like that. So also, when we're meeting up next week, Dominic, be sure to have your backpack ready to show how that works. And we're talking about traveling with a chair. So I want to see you have that on.
Okay.
So back to Corbin. We didn't forget about you, Corbin. So talk about, showing going down like you just did, going down the curb, what you're doing, what you're looking at, what you're thinking about when you're going down the curb as well, because that has some stuff too.
So going down the curb, I want to make sure both of my wheels are going to hit the curb at the same time. I don't want to be turned like this and have one go down, because then I'm going to be off balance sideways. So I want to make sure both of my rear wheels are going to go down the curb at the same time. One of the things that I like to teach is to be in control enough of your wheelie that you can come down off the curb and stay in your wheelie. If you try to time it to where all 4 wheels hit at the same time and you're off and your front wheels hit first, you're going to kick yourself backwards, and a lot of times you'll end up with the small of your back is going to be right on that curb that you just went down. So if you can practice wheelies enough that you can get to the edge and you'll be able to feel when you're just about to come off that curb. Like I'm not looking at the curb at all. I'm sort of cheating because I can look at the camera and see, but I can feel that I'm right on the edge of that curb, and I can come down and stay in a wheelie, and I'm against the curb, so now I'm supported. But if I try to land all 4 wheels at the same time and my timing is off, and I hit those front casters first, it's gonna pop me back up really fast, and now I have to be in survival mode when all I wanted to do was go down a curb. And then you're gonna get back to last week and be floor to chair and all that kind of stuff. So the more controlled you can do it, instead of just going and flying off it. Like I've seen guys, and some higher level injuries that maybe can't hold a wheelie like that or something like that, they've developed a different thing where they've got their timing down, where they do it kind of like a jump, and they go off it fast enough that they come off and land flat again and everything like that. But a lot of times, like I'm 6 feet away from a car, so I can't get some momentum and fly off this curb and hope to catch myself before I hit something else, or if I'm going down a bunch of stairs or something like that. You can't, it's really good to be able to control the wheelie enough that you can lower yourself down, roll down over that edge and stay in the wheelie, because then you're in the most control at that point. A couple of things that I look at is if the curb is painted, it's going to be slippery. It's going to be more slippery, and especially if it's wet. So if it's wet and painted and I have to go down that curb, that changes my approach. Now I'm doing that little bit of a controlled jump down that curb because you're not going to go down that as slow as before, as slow and controlled. Because as soon as you get down over that edge, now your wheels are going to start slipping and you're going to slide down it and you're going to start trying to correct before you're even down all the way. But just, being able to, visualize your environment, have situational awareness and everything, and, be able to guesstimate to the best of your ability how tall the curb is, the painted surface, the edge. Try to get to edges that are equal. So if there's a big chip in the curb, you probably don't want to have one wheel in that big chip. There's a bunch of different things. And as you progress and are in the chair longer, you can, like I can go through at work and stuff like that, and I know almost exactly to within, a half inch of what space I can get through. And I can go and just maneuver right through that space or, see the curbs or, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Going down, we can go down backwards too. So come up and so if you get to the curb backwards, you can also feel when you're about to go over the curb, like I feel when I'm about to go over the curb. And what I want to do is I want to be able to control my body and lean forward as I'm coming over that curb and come down and be able to do that really controlled.
I am such a huge fail at any of that. All these years and I still can't do them, and they scare the crap out of me.
Curbs in general?
Yep.
Yep. And that's okay. Basically curbs, I'm in a situation right here where this is at my house, and I still haven't figured out why they have this 10 by 10 or 10 by 12 4-inch raised thing right out here on my patio. I have no idea why it's like this. So there's no ramp here, but out in out in the wild, doing a curb is basically so that you can cut off time of going to, find where the ramp is, or if you want to cut, 50 feet, like if you see the curb, you see the ramp down there and the door is right in front of you and you can hop the curb, then you go right there. Or if you come out of the door and your car is right in front of you and the ramp is, 50 feet away, if you just want to save time. If you're not comfortable doing curbs, then, obviously you're more comfortable pushing that extra 50 feet to go down the ramp and take the safe route, which there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. As I'm getting older and nursing a clavicle injury and everything like that, those ramps look really nice.
Yeah.
So it's those trade-off things. Gary loves ramps because he's really old. And
we lost him a while ago, so he was having some connection issues, so he's been gone for a while. So you can talk about him all you want.
Really talk crap about him now.
Yeah.
Hey, Corbin, can I ask you a question about your ramps?
Yes.
This is Gene. So when you're tailgating and you have your dual mug hard hat beer hat on, does that affect your balance point of getting up and down curves?
It does.
So can you show us how you adjust for that?
So you'd have to take those into consideration. So any additions that you add to your person, you have to take that into consideration of your weight transfer.
Well, and I think that's the same thing that Dominic was talking about earlier with his backpack that he's putting on the back of his on his back as he's rolling, is he's had to make adjustments in actually physical adjustments in center of gravity on his chair because of that. Right, Dominic?
Yeah, definitely. Any sort of weight on your back or on your lap, that changes the game. So you have to be able to mentally adjust for that and adjust your body position, You know, like Corbin was talking about putting, you know, your weight forward, going up the curbs and being able to pull up. And so that, you know, depending on the situation and the more you do, the more you learn what works and what doesn't. I honestly, in the years, I can't tell you how many times I've failed at the timing of getting my casters up high enough, or if I've got too much weight on the back, too much weight on the front. And one of the things I wanted to touch on too, you know, Corbin talked about it, was when you're going off the curb, he was talking about being in a wheelie, and you definitely, you know, it's more difficult when if you try to land flat, the timing, and it's way more sketchy. The worst situation is for somebody to come off and not allow for your front end to come up even at all. If you come down nose heavy, those front casters are going to hit and it's going to dump you out. So even though you might think, oh, I can just roll this one over and let the front end drop, you want to make sure you're in that wheelie, because it's gonna end ugly.
I'm here to tell you, no matter how small the curb is, you'll dump out.
Exactly. It doesn't, when you letting casters go down first, it doesn't have to be a very tall curb, like Dominic was saying.
Just real quick, I wanted to show, I'm gonna try to share my screen. Here's a wheelie for just fun and kind of on the stupidity level. Let me see.
I find stupidity is how we learn.
Yeah, exactly.
It is absolutely how we learn.
Oh my God, look at that ramp.
So this was in Paris, and this is marble. It's wet marble.
Oh no! Oh, this is not going to end well.
My Lanta.
Looks like fun. I'll try it.
See, I would just go down that full speed because that's just how I am.
Is that surface wet?
Yeah.
Jeez. How did you not end up in the water?
End up in the water. Wow.
It almost looks like you, Dominic.
That was me.
Oh, that was you. Oh, duh.
That was me 10 years ago.
Wow.
That was pretty impressive the way you held on to that. Actually,
can you do it again?
Can you play that again? Because actually, I want to talk about ramps. So you brought actually a good. That was a nice segue into ramps. So hold on to it for just a moment. So before we go on,
that is my approach to all ramps. Is full speed ahead.
There you go.
The best. Only because I like it. I like the thrill of it. But stuff happens.
Exactly. So I think the biggest take-home thing with curbs is, you know, sometimes you got to pick and choose what's going to work for you. You know, is it going to be worth it? Am I going to worry about coming out of my chair when I'm in someplace I don't want to come out of my chair? Is it worth it just to go the extra, 10 feet to go to maybe there's a ramp or a curb cut and utilize that versus jumping down the curb? So I think that's one of the biggest things is with any kind of chair skill is, just thinking about your own abilities when you're approaching that. Okay, is this going to be, if this ends badly, do I have help here to help me with, get back into my chair or whatever? And am I going to be okay doing this? And if the answer is, hey, I'm okay doing this, then that makes it easy to go to jump that curb, or in a moment we'll talk about the jump here. I think Corbin's got one other thing he wants to show us here with if you happen to have something in your lap. Are you?
Yep.
There you go. Okay, so show us if you got happen to have something in your lap, what you're doing for going up and down the curb. Or are you going to balance that on your head?
Right. So if I have something in my lap and I have to go up a curb, I'll go up to the curb and set the item down up on the other level.
Especially if it's a beer.
Get up the curb.
Yeah.
Pick it up and go. If I'm coming down the curb, I can adjust my balance according to the weight that's on me, and I can still come down the curb controlled and not have that thing fly off my lap. That's one of the important things of being able to control your wheelie and land in a wheelie, because especially if I had something on my lap, that I just go away.
No, you just turned 90 degrees.
Sideways. He fell out of his chair.
It looks like you fell out of your chair, Corbin.
That is one
Your
heck of a
phone- Your
wheelie.
phone decided to change angles there.
That's amazing control.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're even able to do that is gravity defying, yes.
I think we might have lost Corbin for a moment. Okay, so so now let's go on to. Does anybody have any questions or comments about curbs or anything?
No, is there a really good way to practice wheelies when you're by yourself, though? Because I need to get these wheelies right, and I've been trying all these years, and I still can't do them.
I would put the bed or a couch behind you when you practice, because that way you have a soft landing every time.
Yeah.
And I would also put something in front of your big wheel so that it's not gonna slip out when you fall back. You know, like a rolled up towel or something like that. And that way you can wedge it, and that way you can at least feel safe. That way, if you fall back, your chair's not going to fly out as easily. So you want to literally, at least that's my advice.
And one of the things that I did when I first taught myself how to do wheelies is I actually got a mat onto the floor that I could actually roll onto, so that if I did go over backwards, well, I'm not going to split my skull open. But it also helped because it slowed down some of my this rocking back and forth that people tend to get into when they're doing wheelies. So it kind of helped. It slowed some of that down, and it made it a little bit easier for me to control that. Now, I worked at the hospital, so it was easy to throw a mat onto the floor that I could just jump a chair onto. Or as Christine, well, you can talk, Christine, but as Christine just typed in, or start on carpeting also. So if you're on some thicker carpeting, start there, and that will certainly kind of helps to control and slow some of your movements down. And I think that's the biggest thing is having that, having the control in the wheelie before you start jumping curbs and going up and down curbs and stuff. Sarah looks like she's got a question or a comment.
You know what? I have a big Persian rug in my bedroom that I practice whatever.
Yeah, and I think that it's wherever, when I would teach this to patients, I always put a gait belt on the back of their chair so that they didn't have to worry about making incidental contact with the floor. But I don't since I don't teach that anymore. But I think most people still, if you're with someone to do that, that works well. But usually you're by
You think
yourself.
I tie a gait belt to a grab bar, or would that not give me enough room?
That's not going to give you enough room. The gait belt, you need to have somebody there with you because they're holding on to it. So as you're moving around, either rolling forward or rolling backwards or whatever you're doing, that you're in a safe environment that they're going to catch you if you happen to go all the way over backwards.
Okay.
You follow? Yeah.
Yep.
So what I would do is one of a couple things is either have someone with you to help you, kind of practice them, or go, get yourself back into therapy with somebody who knows how to do wheelchair skills. And in Vail and in Tucson, that may be a challenge for you.
No, my PT actually loves to do wheelies, and he gets in my chair and does wheelies. I even brought the old wheelchair that's not tippy at all, and he was able to do wheelies like nothing. So I could. So
that's somebody you want to get with, definitely. And then get with him and say, okay, I want to be in a safe environment. This is a reason for going back to the therapy. So I want to learn how to get better at wheelies so I can get better at curbs and so I can be more independent in those things.
All right. So in September, because Corona, he got furloughed and then he's off for the.
Yeah, that's happened to a lot of people, unfortunately.
Yeah. Once the Corona's over with, we'll do the wheelchair skills down at Encompass.
Okay, perfect.
But,
yes, because I don't know if you were set to do the classes with them down at Encompass down there in Tucson. But so once this is all over, I think they'll revisit that again because I had planned on coming down for that class.
I've been asking for years, so yes, of course I was going.
Yeah.
It'll be
So
revisited.
we're going to move on to ramps. So Dominic, kind of talk through your that great video. Because it shows, I mean, it's super steep ramp, but it does definitely show the technique that I would normally teach somebody how to do a ramp. So go ahead.
Okay, so again, for me, being a higher level para, and again, not having that usage of my core, when there's when I'm going down a ramp, I tend to be in a wheelie because I'm more stable that way. If I'm going down a ramp, it wants my backrest will push me forward in my chair, and I feel very unbalanced. So 9 times out of 10 on any downward slope, I'll be in a wheelie, and I just adjust for however steep that ramp is, how far I bring my front end up, how much balance I need. So in that video, again, I'll show it again. But you'll see it where, you know, I lift my front end up quite a bit. And also too, again, we keep talking about it, but control is the key. Doing things slowly and under control, it reduces your risk of injury. It reduces the potential for failure in it. Doing things slow and under control is really the ticket to doing things. And that was one of the biggest things with this ramp that I did was, you know, in my brain, I'm thinking, okay, it's wet, it's slick, it's marble, it's steep, and there's a fountain at the end that's full of algae that I don't want to land in. But I want to do this. I was doing it for fun, just, you know, having a good time. So I had to keep into consideration of, you know, not going down too fast, making sure I was on the, you know, braking my wheels enough to stay under control and stay in that wheelie and stay in my balance point. So there, you know, there was a lot of thought in this. Like, I mean, it looks like I was just goofing off, and I really was, but there really is a lot that the wheels are turning, so to speak.
So did the French police come down and ask, well, you crazy American, what you doing?
No, fortunately I wasn't. And so I actually wanted to show you guys another video that just popped up on my YouTube.
Yeah, but wait, how did you get back up that ramp is what I want to know.
So there was another pathway around. So again, considering, you know, how am I going to get back up this? I knew that wasn't going to happen. So in doing it, I knew that was my exit, was to go around and up the other side.
Okay.
That was a much less steep ramp. This is another one, and I'll show this video, and then we can go further on it if you want, Brian. But I just
Okay,
want to show
that's cool, because this is a nice segue into to stairs as well. Is this you?
This is me also. This is again in Paris. This is in the same exact location I was just in.
Whoa, I saw that video. Whoa.
Now, notice the focus and concentration as he's going down. So there's a lot of thought going into this. This isn't just, hey, I think I'm just going to go flying down these stairs, because it's something that can go badly and go wrong really fast.
I've tried it.
And
It's
so,
gone badly. So you know.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So you want to make sure that of your skills when you try to do something like that. Go ahead, Dominic.
One of the biggest things that I can say, and this goes for any amount of stairs. That was quite a few. That was like 6 or 8 steps.
Hey, welcome back, Corbin.
Oh, there he is. Yeah. One of the things that you really have to consider is what happens when your chair hits that first step, when you've gone down the first curve. When it's only the one, your chair hits, you level out, you continue going. But what happens is when you do multiple stairs, that first step that you come down, what it does is it will make your chair kind of bounce. And so you have to be able to adjust for that because you've got another one coming and another one. And so that's where, like Brian was saying, again, this control and being able to take things slowly, so that you can allow for that. And I have chairs that are completely rigid frame chairs. And I also have chairs that have suspension in the rear wheels. And that's also something to take into consideration, is what that suspension will do if you're doing the stairs, because a chair will react completely differently. If your tires are too low, Corbin mentioned that before with going up the curbs. If your tire pressure is low, or if it's super hard, that makes the chair react again differently. So you really have to think about these things and you know, practice and become confident in them, to do them.
Yeah, because once you've committed to that first step, there's no bailing out of it. I mean, you have to get down one way or another. You gotta get to the bottom of the stairs, and so I think that's you know, certainly that's a very, you know, I would consider that a very advanced wheelchair skill, and not something that I would encourage everyone to go out, you know, and go start jumping down stairs or escalators or anything else like that. So you know, those are things that you want to make sure that you're very confident in your abilities, as obviously Dominic was, and I've seen Corbin go downstairs, up and downstairs as well. So I think that those are things that you just have that confidence in that. Go ahead, Corbin.
Gravity's either your friend or it's not.
Exactly.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, because gravity will win every time. There's no overcoming it as long as you're on this planet.
Yep.
So if you're doing wheelies, you know, on the moon, well, then the landing is a whole lot softer than it is when you're landing out of your chair here. So it's a lot easier on your body doing wheelies on the moon, I would imagine, than it is doing them here on Earth. But this is what we got to work with. So that's what we get. What was that, Corbin?
My dad thought I was still on.
Okay. Sorry. So and it brings up actually a good point there, Dominic, is, you know, there are loads and loads of videos of people doing all kinds of things on YouTube. You know, if you go and type in, you know, wheelies or you know, how to do a wheelie, how to jump a curb, how to go downstairs. I mean, there are definitely loads and loads of videos out there that you can actually watch and say, okay, this is what, like that, Karen. This is what happens. This is how this is one way to do this. And again, just like these classes, this is one way to do something. This isn't the way, you know, for everybody to do it. It's what works for that particular person, but it may be something that will work for you as well. And that's why we do these classes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anybody have any other questions? Because we're just about out of time here. So anybody have any other questions about anything that we've done today?
I've learned how to go off a road curb, but I haven't learned how to get back up a road curb.
Yeah, I got most of that, but I didn't get all of it.
I'm sorry, the MD is real bad on my throat. I've learned how to go off a road curb back onto a street.
Right, road curb down to a street.
And I can do that, but I have trouble getting back up a road curb and onto the sidewalk.
Because road curbs can be very challenging, because not only do you have the curb itself, but then if you've got blacktop coming up to that concrete piece, that can have a second thing you got to deal with. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
So anybody want to take that?
Yeah,
sure.
You have to keep your wheelie. I know that.
You got to keep your wheelie. Okay, yes, that was a given.
Yeah, I can go to the street, but I can't go back from the street to the sidewalk.
Okay.
I run out. I don't have enough power to get up onto the sidewalk.
So any tricks or comments, Corbin or Dominic or Eric?
It's a little ironic that a rolled curb like that, like most of Phoenix has, is exactly the opposite of a straight curb. On a rolled curb, I've found that momentum is your friend on that one. and the ability to ride a little bit of a wheelie on that one. Going down them, you can go down, if you do it controlled, you can just go down those with your casters and everything, and almost not even ride a wheelie. But going up them, you have to be able to ride a little bit of a wheelie, and you have to have a little momentum, because it's not going to be as violent of a jolt. Your rear wheels are going to roll up, and as your rear wheels roll up, your front casters can land, as long as you're looking ahead of yourself and aren't going to run into a crack where the rolled curb is going to join into the sidewalk, or that kind of thing. So I think that the key to going up a rolled curb is it's ironically it is momentum on that one.
And I see Dominic is shaking his head yes, that you agree with that too.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with what Corbin said. It is all about momentum, and it's all about being able to carry that wheelie to start. And it's as Corbin demonstrated, you pop your front end up, you're in that wheelie and you're rolling along, and you let your rear wheels hit that rolled edge, and your front end will come down, and you just kind of carry through, and you push up through that, and using momentum. It's not near as violent, exactly like Corbin said. No, that's absolutely perfect.
If I had any more battery power, I'd go right out front and show you, but I don't. So I can show you next week, Ralph.
I appreciate that. I can do a vertical curve, 4-inch, with no problem, and going off them. But a roll curve, I just can't get back up them.
And certainly that's something that might just take some practice too. Getting with somebody with you to make sure that that you're, maybe to help you with the technique or something. So again, just making sure that you're safe in doing those. I don't want to see you on the news or anything. Anybody have any other questions here before we adjourn for the evening?
I do.
Yes, Amber.
It's honestly regarding the first part of the presentation when we were talking about the doors.
Okay.
Because our clinic has a really tight door. We're in charge of that. I don't know how you would be able to loosen that to make it easier for our wheelchair patients to get in and out, but it's really heavy. I don't know.
So if it's a door that's got at the top of this is an institution, I'm assuming?
Yes.
So at the top of it, it's got one of those scissor kind of spring mechanisms on it?
Yes.
So inside of that big metal box, that actually comes off, and inside of there's an adjustment for adjusting the spring. And unfortunately, we lost Gary, and because he actually knows how to, I know you can adjust them, I don't know how to adjust it. So there's got to be, is there like a maintenance guy at that facility there?
He goes all around to our clinic, so I'll have to.
Okay, so maybe flag him the next time and say, hey, can you take a look at this door and see, oh, look at Corbin is showing us something.
Oh, there it is.
So it looks like there's a screw underneath at the bottom of it. I can't read what it says there, Corbin, but it, so what did you Google? I can't read that either.
Adjusting an auto closed door.
There you go. So Google's great for all sorts of things, isn't it?
Google.
So you want to Google adjusting an auto closed door, and it looks like it gave a nice little picture there and some description there. So get with either, take it upon yourself and go rip the door apart, or the next time your guy is in the building, say, hey, I found this on Google. Can you do this to the door here?
Some of the door checks are even simpler, and there's just literally a screw, and you don't even have to go in the box.
Yeah, it just depends on the manufacturer. So maybe even if there's some kind of a sticker on it or something, Amber, then you could read off of that and say, okay, how to adjust this particular door, and it may be very simple.
Okay, thank you.
I'll check that
Are you
out.
going to whack your husband with that, Karen?
I say that looked like a beating stick.
It did. Okay. Any other questions, anybody? Hey, I think that this was a great evening here. We really had some, I think, some really great information shared, some good videos that we've got, as well as the stuff that Corbin and everybody was doing at their homes. So I thought that this was a really good session today. So coronavirus, stay at home.
And I will say, if you have the need for speed, the best ride around is the Tucson Airport Triple Hill going down.
Oh, there you go. Okay, that sounds like
I may
fun.
have to find that.
Uh-oh. We might see another video with Dominic in it.
Just go early in the morning before there's stuff on the floor, so you don't trip on your casters. Because I don't wheelie, so I go down full speed just the way I am.
So thank you everybody for participating and sharing and asking questions. And so next Thursday's class, I'm pulling up my cheat sheet here, is travel with wheelchair. So we're going to talk about we're going to do some car transfers. So those of you guys that have vehicles, either be at them, or if you want to make some videos beforehand of showing your transfer, that would be terrific. And then we're going to talk about, so we'll talk about car transfers and vehicle transfers. And then if you're out in your vehicle and you've got some specialty controls in there, definitely include those in the vehicle, so we can, in the video, so we can talk about those as well, and kind of see, how you drive differently than other people do, especially you, Gene, because I know yours is a bit different than everybody else is going to be here. So definitely want to be able to share that as well. We're going to talk about traveling. So we're going to take a little trip, talk about things at the airport, things on a plane, traveling domestic as well as internationally, because we have a number of people on that have traveled the world. So definitely we'll be talking about that next week as well. So thank you, everybody, and have a great week, and we'll see you all here next Thursday.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Have a good night.